Cian, last six All Ireland, I suppose. It must be hard to believe, but you're there on merit.
Yeah, I suppose it is. I kind of set out to start the year hoping to be in this position, and very thankful that we actually are. So it's been a great year now, and hopefully it doesn't end this weekend.
Yeah, it has been a great year for you, in fairness. And I suppose one thing for me this year is your never say die attitude. I suppose like Monaleen was tough in the semi in Limerick, and obviously there it was Darren Doherty that got the point, and it was Ruan in Semple Stadium. But you never die really.
Yeah, it's something that has definitely changed the last couple of years with us. In the past, I suppose if you brought it to dogfight, we'd be susceptible to losing towards the end of games. Whereas now we actually feel very comfortable towards the end of the game. If there's only a point, two, if we're 3 points down, we still feel that we have the ability to come back and draw it, if not win it from there, whether there's a minute or 2 minutes. And we've shown, I suppose, in the last few games, ideally, I'd rather not be in that position again, but it seems to be a running trend now.
Yeah, and that point for one, especially, it was so late into the game, but you didn't look like you were phased at all. I suppose it comes back to training. You're probably trained at a very high level in Newcastle.
Yeah, like we've Stephen Kelly training us there, and he's top class. He's brilliant. He puts us through plenty of different scenarios, and we'd constantly be, let's say, the forwards have the ball. We're 2 points down. There's one play left to go. What do we do in this instance? And it's constantly drilled into us to make the right decision, to keep putting pressure on the opposition. I suppose I remember chatting to Ron about the shot, and he didn't even know it went over when he kicked it. He was on the floor after taking the shot, so he got up, saw everyone celebrating, and he was delighted it went over.
Yeah, touched on Rowan, I suppose, Todd and Emma Richter as well. A lot of young fellas in the last couple of years must have really boosted the side, because, you would have been contenders all the way through, but now you're consistently putting your first back-to-back titles and 4 in the last 7 years.
Yeah, it's great. When I first started, it was kind of the older year of players. We had some excellent footballers, but there was that gap. I suppose you had Ian Corbett's age group, which had a number of brilliant players, and then there was, let's say, me and one or two others from my age group, but then there was a gap after us. Whereas now the 21s were playing last week, and we had training, we were missing 12 or 13 players. So, and they're key players for us. You've named a few of them there, but there's a number of other players that are part of our panel that, they bring the standard in training every day. So like, we really miss them the last day of training. It's very noticeable.
Yeah, and you mentioned when you came into the panel, it has been a long journey personally for you between, I suppose, injuries and travel, and must make it all the more worthwhile that, you kept going, and here you are in the Munster final.
Yeah, it's great. Like I suppose I'm always being given out to for heading away and doing my own little bit, but I went away there for a while. I was working in the States and ended up doing my career over there, coming back and rehabbing it. And I was just coming back with Limerick at the time, and then COVID hit, and it was actually a blessing in disguise because it gave me another couple of months to come back. It would have been only, I think, 7 or 8 months at that stage, and I was getting back into contention for league. It gave me another couple of months, and like I've just come back from strength to strength, thankfully, from it.
And being away from the game for a while, does that give you, I suppose, more hunger when you do come back?
Definitely. Like I suppose when I first got on the panel, I'll talk about with Limerick. I suppose I was 18, and I just loved playing football. I just loved going out, running around, doing whatever I could. I probably was I was definitely tactically naive and just naive in general. And then I was playing for a couple of years, and I suppose I just kind of fell out in love with the game a little bit. I took a year and a half, 2 years of a break, and came back. And just personally now, I've never enjoyed playing the game more. If anything, I'm much more obsessed. Like any bit of my spare time is spent thinking about football or watching matches or chatting to other lads, just going through different ideas.
Yeah, even in the last 2 years, you seem to have jumped another level, and obviously the All-Star nominee comes from that. But is it down to that break, or is it experience, or a mix of a number of things?
I think it's a number of things. It's, I suppose, experience. Like physically, I'd be in a better place now. I suppose mentally, like even just having chances to be involved with people like Adrian O'Brien with Limerick, having all these young great players coming through at Newcastle West, with Limerick doing better. Like there's loads of different factors that play into it.
And obviously, like the All-Star, the award night, like it's probably a night you won't ever forget.
No, it was a great night. Listen, I was fortunate enough to get nominated. and it was a great night out for the family. For my girlfriend Sarah, my brothers were up there as well. Like, so it was a great night out.
And obviously, just still on Limerick, you've Division 2 football in a few weeks' time. I know you're fully focused on Newcastle at the moment, but I suppose in the back of your mind, you must be really looking forward to that trip to Derry, and then obviously welcome Dublin to Limerick.
Yeah, sure. Listen, this is why you play football. Like, we can't wait to get a chance to play the likes of Derry, Dublin, Kildare, and the rest of the teams in Division 2. Like, I'm not fully involved with it at the moment, but I'd still be chatting to the lads, seeing how they're getting on every day or two. Every time I go to the gym, the lads are in there, so I'd be in touch with the players anyway. And yeah, it's something to look forward to next year.
But obviously, the focus now is Newcastle, and you have Kerins O'Rahilly this Saturday night. Playing a Kerry team, you know exactly what you're going to get from them.
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't great experience playing Kerry teams in the past. So listen, I think we're in a much better position this year. I'm not looking anywhere past this week. We've put in a lot of hard work. I think we're ready for the challenge, and we'll see how we fare.
And obviously, they have a lot of All-Ireland winners, and you played, as you mentioned, a Munster final against a lot of them. It must be very hard to prepare for a Kerry team when you know the onslaught that's probably going to come.
Yeah, it is. Like, they bring a different level, skill-wise, tactical-wise, physical-wise. They have a lot of experience, and they have some top-class players. So we know what we're getting ourselves into.
But it's a fourth Munster campaign for a lot of you. You seem to take every year you make incremental steps, and you obviously finally won a game last year, and you were beaten by Essex, and this year you've beaten the tournament favourites. That you are learning every year, and you're only one step away from Munster Championship.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just one game. There's two teams out there. It can go either way. It depends on the day. It depends on what the weather is like. Loads of other different factors. We've shown that over the past that we're getting better and better. It's really important as well that we got the double this year. It's very hard to make improvements in the provincial if you're playing once every 2-3 years. You need to kind of have that sustained growth. If you look at the likes of, obviously, the Carfins, the Kilcoos, Slaughtneils, all these other brilliant teams, in the past they've won counties year on year, and they've gotten better from it.
And obviously, you've represented Limerick a number of times, but to represent Limerick as a Newcastle man with your own club under lights and park you're in, is it a pressure or a privilege?
It's a privilege. It's another game. I suppose there'll be a bit more of a spotlight on this game, but at the end of the day, once the whistle goes, it's 15 against 15. You can't really approach it any differently.
Lovely. That's perfect. Thanks, Cian. The best of luck on Saturday.
Thanks very much, Jack.
Cian Sheehan was talking ahead of this week's AIB Munster Senior Club Championship Final between Newcastle West and Kerins O'Rahilly's. The AIB GA All-Ireland Club Championships features some of the toughest players from communities across Ireland. It is these very communities that players represent that make AIB GA All-Ireland Club Championships unique. Now in its 32nd year supporting the club championships, AIB is extremely proud to once again celebrate the communities that play such a role in sustaining our national games. From players to coaches, volunteers, referees, to the passionate fans who will fill stadiums across Ireland this weekend, AIB thanks all those whose work often goes unseen.